Money can buy you the answers you seek, and rhythm can lessen the pain. The gods, they are fickle, routinely oblique, but worship is rarely in vain. Thella has granted my one true request. The journey is now mine to take. With grays in my hair and aches in my chest, at long last I'm feeling awake. Loves have I lost, and friends have I made, and many hard drinks have I downed. The devil I've crossed, that debt yet unpaid, but to Rowan my soul is bound.
Last time on the Paragon Company, our party, running from the zombie clot, ventured back to the old church to sort of recover and recuperate temporarily, where Tom was abducted by cultists, and when the party tried to find him, they only found some slight evidence. Akira played the role of $1 Million Oni. You guys ventured into the forest that's in the old town, discovering that it was a forest of cletwood and that it was seemingly untouched by the necrotic curse over Old Bainham. You made your way to the manor of Balsaron, the landlord of Bainham that owns most of the old town. There you discovered an office full of a few notes, a letter to some woman named Jillstein, several Cletwood amulets that seemed to not be affected by the necrotic curse, as well as a book that was written in a language none of you could read. In the basement of the manor, you found several zombies, which you killed, and a tunnel that, upon exploration, led to several key points in the old town, and seemed to be a pretty effective way to perhaps travel safely through the old town. You made your way back to the end of the tunnel, which led out into the basement of the church, which you opened the entryway back and escaped the old town. Made your way back to the Arce's Horse Tavern, and one final thing before you all went to bed for the evening was that Archibald cast Identify on the Cletwood amulets that you did have already to discover that they're actually enchanted to deliberately start to decay upon being touched by the necromantic energies of the old town. And you all came to the conclusion that Balsaron is deliberately enchanting them to just make a profit off people, because the Cletwood itself does not decay from the curse. Also, kind of a side thing, because he was unable to be here tonight, Ernesto had Trax kind of run a bit of a solo mission where he explored parts of the residential area of the old town by himself and was able to map out a large portion of it that you guys had not explored yet, and even discovered the butcher shop that you guys have kind of had on your radar for a little bit that might be the location of one of the rubies.
Nice.
Yeah. So with that, I'll say you guys had a couple days where you just kind of took some time to relax because, you guys had a pretty intense experience rummaging through the old town. But, Akira, you have a dream one night where you're walking through a forest. The air's chilly. It's very dark. So dark that even with your dark vision, you're having a hard time seeing. But off in the distance, you see a faint light that looks like it's possibly a campfire.
Should I do something?
Yeah, what do you want to do?
I bound towards the fire.
Okay.
Quietly, stealthily.
Okay, give me a stealth check.
Naruto runs.
Yeah.
I like the idea of stealthily bounding.
I expel chakra, through the bottom of my feet. Sorry, ki through the bottom of my feet at like an equal rate, so as to stick to the tree branches, but not repel myself off of them.
Right.
You know how it goes.
Yeah.
Like you.
As one does.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, my thing is freezing. It's rolling something. Wow. Okay. 10.
10. All right. So you sneak through the forest a little bit, and then you try to like run up the tree, and you end up just kicking too hard and just straight up snapping one of the branches right off, and like you don't fall or anything, but it's just like very loud in the still, quiet night.
I'm gonna cover up. I'm gonna try to cover up the sounds with like an animal noise.
Okay.
Specifically, I'm going to use. 1 second. Let me find it. Okay, you know what? No, I'm going to use my hands to do like the, like when people make like the bird noises, like the using what they're and stuff.
All right. Here, give me a deception check.
And make it seem like it was just like,
Yeah.
Could I argue for sleight of hand?
Well, it's a bird noise that you're making with your mouth. So.
Animal.
But it is. Ooh. Could I try animal handling?
Well, in this case, because there's not an actual animal involved.
I get you.
Grab a bird. Just grab a bird.
Grab a bird.
21.
Huh?
21.
Okay. So there's a loud snapping, and then, you kind of like drop and cup your hands and make like a woo, like an owl sound. That was probably not a great example, but that's okay. So so you make like a pretty convincing owl sound, and you don't seem to notice any response or anything coming from the campfire up ahead.
Can I kind of like get a look around my surroundings and see if I can get a gauge of like what's going on in the campfire? If I climb to high ground, could I spy and see what's going on there?
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, you climb up one of the trees, and do you want to give me a perception check?
16.
Okay. So you can't quite make out a whole lot because it is quite dark, but you do see a silhouette by the campfire.
Silhouette look familiar at all? Is it big? Is it small?
It's not terribly big. It doesn't look very tall. It doesn't look like a very tall person, but it's hard to make out. They seem pretty maybe large but short.
Okay. I make a bird noise again.
Okay. All right. Do you want to do another deception check?
Yes. A 20.
Okay. Yeah. So you make another like owl sound, and do you just wait to see if there's a response, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So like you see the silhouette move, but not in any way that looks like it's getting up and looking around. Like it's just like probably poking at the fire.
Okay, I want to see if I can get a drop on it and like continue from like above.
Okay. Yeah. So if you want to jump from like tree to tree, I'll say give me an acrobatics check.
15.
Okay. So yeah, you start jumping from tree to tree. You get much closer. I'll say you get to you're pretty much right on the spot that the person is. So you're like a bit above them in the tree, and at this point you can see them much better. It's a very short-looking individual with a very wide-brimmed and very tall hat. Kind of looks like the stereotype like wizard hat. They have like kind of a long nose, pointy ears, and like just the most gigantic, like absurdly wizardy looking beard. And they're just sitting there, just sort of poking the fire.
Jump down, like in front of them.
Okay. So you jump down in front of this person, and they don't react at all. At least not to you jumping, but they continue to poke the fire, and then, without looking at you, this person says, "Oh, I've made some tea if you'd care to join me."
I have a question for you, Mike.
Yeah.
Does Akira know she's dreaming?
I'd say it's up
Like-
to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say that's up to you. If you know, does Akira know she's dreaming?
I don't know. That's why I was asking that question. I was wondering if this is like a lucid type dream.
Tell you what.
Yeah.
Tell you what. Roll a d6.
All right.
On an even number, she knows. On an odd number, she doesn't know.
All right. That's if it'll let me pop up a dice. I don't know what is going on with this thing. Okay. 5. So no.
Okay. So yeah, as far as she knows, this is really happening.
Okay.
Makes sense. She's not.
All right. Who like so I ask. I guess so. I guess she asks, "Why am I in this dream with you? Who are you?"
No, she doesn't know she's dreaming.
Oh, she doesn't know. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
No.
So I guess like she's, I guess she, she just is like, sure. Yeah, she just goes and gets some tea.
Yeah, and like he so he's poking the fire, but he just with his free hand, he just sort of goes, hold on just a second. And he just sort of like waves his hand, and like a little tray comes up, and like the like kettle comes off the fire and like comes over and just pours hot water into like these 2 really elaborate decorated like mugs, and then just one of them floats in front of you and the other one floats in front of him, and he like grabs the one that comes over to him, and he's just like, cheers, and he just takes a big long swig of the tea.
sip of the tea, but only after he does.
Okay. He's just he finally like puts the poker down and like turns to look at you. And he's like, "Well, I don't get much company in these parts. Would you care to have a seat?" And
Akira jumps.
he gestures across from him, and there's like a log on the other side of the fire.
Yeah. So yeah, Akira goes along with it, and
Okay.
she goes, "What are these parts? Who are you?"
He kind of smiles, and he just says, "Oh, I'm just an old man who likes to travel the world."
Well, then what part of the world are we in?
He looks around and he goes, "You know, I'm not entirely sure." And he just takes another big sip of tea.
I ask him his name.
He laughs, and he's just like, "Oh, my name's not important." He he goes, "You know, I haven't actually had a chance to speak with an Oni in a very long time."
I mean, you know, I think I would have heard of a man like you coming to the Oni Islands.
Oh, I'm sure you would have. I have been there, but it's been a very, very long time. I remember I used to have a very good friend there. His name was Akira.
Akira's eyes widen, and she goes, and then she goes, how, do you, what type of did he go by anything else?
Oh, yes, they called him Akira the White. Partially because he was a white-skinned Oni, which is very rare, I understand. But also, more importantly, because when he was able to cast magic, it manifested as brilliant white light. And then he takes another sip of tea.
Akira drops her cup of tea.
As you drop it, he just sort of like gently gestures, and the tea, like the cup, just stops shy of hitting the ground and like kind of floats around and catches the liquid before it touches the ground. Careful, you don't want to drop it. It's it's one of my favorite blends.
Akira's unsure, like, how to even begin. Like, she is flabbergasted. She is like, you know, the guy, like the gif of the guy where he's like blinking and there's like a tear?
Yeah.
That is her. She is like pale faced. She is like, how do you know Akira the White? She's like, that was thousands of years ago.
Was it?
Are you a god?
No. I'm not a god. I'm just an old man who likes stories.
I don't believe him.
Do you want to give me an insight check?
Yes.
Okay.
22. Oh, no. 23.
Okay. So, yeah, something about what he's saying just rubs you the wrong way. Like, there's more to this guy than he's letting on.
Right, okay, and then she's like, how? She's like, let's see. So Akira's like flabbergasted, and so I guess she's like, so why are you visiting? So why are you visiting me then?
Visiting you? You're the one who came to my campsite. He just takes another
No.
sip of tea.
Can I try casting a spell?
Sure.
Okay. I want to use absorb elements, and I want to stick my hand into the fire.
Okay. All right, yeah. So, yeah, you put your hand in the fire and cast absorb elements. Give me a sec.
I just want to shove my hand in this fire if I could.
Oof. All right, give me 1 second. You cast the spell, and the fire burns, but less hot than it should have. But then for a moment, the old man looks down, and his eyes flash with like just this swirl of like blue and purple like light and energy, and the fire like drops, like it almost goes out, and you don't feel any of the heat or anything. And then when you pull your hand away, the fire goes back to normal. And he goes, I wouldn't recommend putting your hand in fire. That doesn't seem like a practical thing to do.
I mean, I was just trying to test the limits of my magic.
A fine pursuit. Magic. He's like, but I believe, with the exception of Akira the White, Oni don't naturally possess magical ability.
You're right. You're right. And I was told my entire life that it was my key that would let me do this. And she like produces like a mage hand and like grabs like the teacup and like uses the mage hand to like take a sip of the tea.
He looks at you and he goes, well, I know ki is quite a useful skill for those who can harness it, but I think maybe you've been lied to. Maybe not intentionally, but something doesn't sound quite right with that story to me. And trust me, I've heard lots of them.
I sit down. So basically I sit down and can I like manifest like a calligraphy, like a calligrapher's set or like my drafting tools?
Yeah, I'll say you have them.
Okay. I sit down with him and I ask him, so tell me some of your stories.
Well, what would you like to hear?
No, just, I was like, you know what? I was like, your choice. Give me a blend. Give me a good blend.
All right. And he goes on to tell you in much more detail than you've even heard in like Oni text the story of Akira the White, and how he was like, just this, he was like immensely powerful, but like very kind, but very mischievous, and like a lot of other Oni didn't really appreciate him, and until he like, did some great deed that like saved the island and, all this kind of stuff. He tells you other stories about like, demons and dragons and just all kinds of stuff. And after a while, he realizes he's finished his tea, and he's like, "Oh, I seem to have finished the tea. Well, I suppose maybe it's time for me to turn in for the night."
Akira stands up and like puts out her hand and goes, "It was nice to meet you."
He doesn't stand. He actually just levitates off of the tree that he's sitting on and floats over to you. And he takes your hand and shakes it, and he looks you dead in the eye and says, "Well, honestly, I'm really looking forward to hearing more about your story, Akira." And then you jump awake in your room at the Arce's horse and nearly push Archibald out of the bed.
Okay. Yeah. So Akira does like a scream shout and like a backflip, like, I don't know,
Oh my God.
from a seated position out, like up out of the bed or something,
Right.
and like has her zoomies,
Yeah. So Archibald, you wake up being like shoved very hard and like almost falling out of the bed, and just Akira like flipping up out of the bed and like stomping around the room in like a panic.
Okay. So Archibald, let's see. How I guess, yeah, my chair would be like right next to the bed, right?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine you keep it close by.
No, it'd have to be. Okay. So Archibald's gonna be like, whoa, hey, so what's up? This is a little more than your usual like cake dream. What's going on?
I met a wizard man in my dreams. I met a traveling wizard man who gave me tea and told me and told me about Akira the White. He knew Akira.
So Archibald's gonna like put his glasses on and kind of like hup himself into his chair
Yeah.
and be like, "Okay, babe, like I don't mean to sound at all patronizing, but like you've had dreams before, right?"
No, but this was more than a dream.
Okay.
It was, you see like Akira's mouth like twist around the word magic.
So hey, you know how you never want to go and like see anybody about the whole magic thing that doesn't exist, and I respected that until very recently.
Yeah.
Would you maybe wanna talk to somebody about all this?
I think like she's already sent a letter to Heinrich about it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
know.
yeah. So yes, Akira's like, yeah. But basically, do I like remember the dream clearly?
Yes, like completely vividly.
Okay, I want to sit down and I immediately like start taking down like what I can from the dream, or like the stories at least.
If you dictate it, I can. Would that be easier for Akira with her like?
I don't think so because she's got like drafting tools.
Oh, you totally. Yeah, you're totally good for it.
So yeah, I want to do that. I want
Okay.
to like write down the stories immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, so you start to write it down, and yeah, no, you just you go through and you start writing down all the stories. And like it's weird because usually when you wake up from a dream they kind of like start to fade right away, but like this one you just remember as though you just actually talked to this person for like quite a while.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think she has a doubt that wasn't real. Like that was a little too
Two on the nizzos.
too on the nose.
Well, Akira's not exactly like a non-believer, other than up until now for magic specifically.
Right. Actually, Archibald, do you want to give me a religion check?
Oh, absolutely. I was gonna say, I know that technically, like, I'm good at things, but I do feel like this might be a little bit out of his ability to just like,
Right.
hey, now that we're talking about it, let me
Right.
educate you on magic. But yeah, like anything I can do, yes. Hang on one second. Skills. So as I'm like doing this, I'm also just gonna cast reset on our hotel room and make it perfect.
Oh, okay. You said you put them in, right?
Yep. So our hotel, all the things in our hotel room start to like glow and sparkle and just like magically reset. So housekeeping doesn't have to do their job.
All right. So yeah, you cast reset and like, yeah, just everything flashes like a gold for a second, and then just all the stuff that she knocked over when she jumped out of bed and everything just like flies up and like stacks itself back up on like tables and on the drawer, and like everything just goes back to the way it was.
Nice. I rolled an unnatural 20.
Okay. So you're very familiar with the gods of the world. This, you're not 100% sure, but this almost sounds like she had a dream about the Recantor, the god of magic.
Oh. Would we? Okay, so do I have any? I wouldn't happen to have anything. We're traveling. I don't have any in my books or anything. Is there like a library or a bookstore in town?
I'm sure you could find one.
Okay, I definitely want to. I'll mention this. I'll be like, so I'm not trying to put too much stock into this beyond that. We do need to talk to someone more educated than I am about it, but there is one of the 10 major deities in our like spectrum is very similar to what you've described, and he would make sense for the situation you find yourself in. And I mean, I don't want to put too much stock into it, but I talk to God all the time, and it's so helpful.
I guess Akira like looks and she goes, I guess we should get the rest of the party to, before we go and try to find I don't know, like someone?
So yeah, Archibald like is just gonna casually like do like the wake up run and like go downstairs and see about some pancake action.
Right. All right. So, you get up and head downstairs. Grabak, you're like jarred awake by a loud slamming from the next room over. And you wake up and realize that Trax isn't in the room.
I look around inquisitively, thinking that he might still be here. I just don't notice.
So you do see that on the table in the room, there is a note from him that just says, "Out, Trax."
It appears he's out.
Well, I say.
Full name.
I'm no detective. It appears he's out.
Right.
Would Trax write his full name, or would it just be like a T?
I feel like he'd put Trax. I mean, Trax is already like an abbreviate. Like it's already a nickname.
True.
Well, I definitely think now that Grabak's awake, I would I'll change from my formal pajamas to my formal suit, and then go downstairs to see if I could see a man about some pancakes.
All right. So Archie, as you go downstairs, Grabak comes out of his room as well. And you both head down to...
Oh, if his door is open, so reset is a ritual. So I'm gonna have done it to all of our rooms to ingratiate us to the staff. And so as he's like walking by, I'm gonna be like, "Oh, Mr. Kensington, it's a pleasure to see you," and then just casually be like, "Cleaning routine," and then a bunch of little toy soldiers and maids and stuff pop out of my wheelchair and just start cleaning his room.
All right. So yeah, you
The help is fantastic here.
So after your reset spell cleans up Grabak's room, the two of you head down to, the bar, and the barkeep Darius Clay is behind the counter, and he just looks up and he's like, "Is everything all right?"
Oh, you've met my girlfriend, my partner, right? The very tall woman.
Yeah.
She has very enthusiastic dreams, and she's very tall. So the combination tends to result in commotion, mostly.
Say no more.
Standard situation in this inn. Is there like a landing and then stairs? Like, how is the stairs?
Yeah, so it's like, upstairs is like a landing with like multiple rooms, and then the stairs down to the main like actual tavern. And there's a couple rooms on the first floor as well. Grim is staying on the first floor.
Yeah, Akira, just as Archie is saying this, Akira basically just jumps off the top landing. right in front of the guy.
So you just fly over the rail and crash on the ground in front of him, and he's just like,
It would be graceful.
She's a ninja.
I'm a ninja.
Yeah.
Graceful.
No, I know you're graceful, but you're big. So, you don't break anything, but it's loud, So you're just like, good morning, miss.
No, I have fall now.
Huh?
I think I have feather fall now, right?
She does when her key's active.
That's true. So yeah, okay, so you jump down and quietly land, and he's just like...
She does that crouching tiger, hidden dragon thing where she just slows down.
Oh, yeah. She falls and then just like... So he's just like, well, good morning, everyone. Did you need anything?
So, could we inquire about a breakfast?
Oh, yes, I could whip something up for you. What were you thinking?
I can't speak for my team, but anything sweet, preferably pancakes, waffles, some sort of chocolate chip item.
I can do pancakes. I don't know if I have any chocolate, but I can...
Oh, no, just pancakes is fine. I just covering my bases.
Okay, I might have some fruits in the back, berries or something.
Oh, God, no, please. I'm sorry. No, don't. Oh.
Okay. Plain pancakes it is. Any
You're just say, okay, weird, but okay.
Right, he gets up from behind the counter and heads off to the kitchen. As you guys are sort of waiting,
I'm sorry to be annoying about this forever now, but I'm gonna reset our table so that there's just a tiny little robot butler standing in the middle of our table, like a little toy butler, and he's just watching our table, and he just constantly fixes it every time anyone does anything. If we put a fork down, he sets it down into perfect position. He sets our plates on a pile when they're finished, and he's gonna
So
Robot's gonna bend a fork in half.
I can only technically reset a thing to perfect so I can effectively clear the table or set it to the condition it was when we started. So we just keep resetting it to perfect as we eat.
Grabak is bending a fork in half.
Every time you
Think I
bend
can
a fork,
fix that?
it just very casually and gently like takes it from you, and then just perfectly, and then just sets it back down in front of you.
This is continuing in the background.
Yeah.
For like at least 10 more fork bends.
Right. And like it's not like a regular like fork where if you bent it and kept rebending it back into proper shape, the metal would become weaker and weaker as it went until it snapped. Like it's just like the first time every time he bends it back into shape.
Totally why he's still doing it, by the way.
Right.
It's like, this is fun.
Right, like
Yeah. It's the little things in life.
Right.
Like, it's the kind of game he used to play with the servants back home, except for the cutlery would eventually break. So it's like putting infinite life code onto your favorite video game.
Right.
It's not the same game anymore, but what a novel experience.
Tomorrow, I'll try a spoon.
So as you guys are waiting and kind of doing this, the downstairs door opens to the side room that Grim is staying in, and Grim comes out, and Kit comes out with him. Oh, excuse me. So Grim comes. Oh man. Oh. Okay. So Grim comes out and yawns, and he's just like, "Oh, good morning, everyone."
Good morning to you, Grim.
He's just like, I'm glad to see you made it back in one piece.
Oh, hey, time out, Mike, real quick.
Yeah.
Kit hasn't seen me. Kit hasn't ever actually seen me before, right?
Right, no, he's only seen Guardian Gold.
Okay. Oh, good to see you, Grim, and this must be your brother, Kit.
Yes. He's like, yes, this is my brother. And before Grim can say anything else, Kit just walks forward. He's like, oh, hi. Your friend saved me from that old town, that terrible place.
Oh, yes, my incredibly strong girlfriend told me all about it. I'm so glad you're safe.
Me too. I guess I was supposed to originally travel with you guys, but I think after this experience, I might think again about joining the Paragon company.
Before you decide against joining the company forever, have you considered furthering your adventuring education?
Oh, is that what you do?
Well, actually, we're just about to open up multiple training facilities specifically for young folks and older folks in your position to help get you, right and ready for the guild or whatever else you might want to do.
Oh, well, I'll have to think about it. Everything's a little fresh right now.
I mean, as a friend of the group, you would certainly get first-class treatment in our initial ventures.
Oh. Well, that is something to consider. And then Grim kind of butts in, and he's like, well, actually, that's something I wanted to talk to you all about. Say, where's Tom and Trax?
Oh, well, not to dissuade anyone from the adventuring life, but Tom is in a spot of trouble we're working on, and has anyone seen Trax?
He was not in the room when I woke up, but he left a note saying he was out.
Oh, probably running errands. What's this spot of trouble you said about Tom?
All that remains of him is a blue poison that knocked me out.
Oh. You seem all very aloof for one of your party missing.
We'll be fine. This has happened before.
Oh, well, Great. I did want to talk to you all. Kit kind of chimes in. He's like, "Well, no, where's the gold armored guy?" And Grim just sort of stares very deadpan at Kit for a moment, and he's just like, "He only comes when needed."
I give Grim like a winky thumbs up. That's probably not as secretive as I think it is.
Right. Kit's like, "Oh wow, that's so cool."
You say
Yeah.
wink as you wink.
Yeah.
He tries to wink, but he just blinks
both eyes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's more speed. Saying wink as you wink is actually kind of cool, and Archibald isn't that. Yeah, Mira's got the better. He just blinks really hard.
It is like a toad though, where it's not like one blinks before the other.
Oh God! Why? Yeah, fair.
Got 6 charisma, babes.
Yeah,
You blink unevenly. Yeah. No. He's like, so anyway, he sits at the table with you guys, and so does Kit. He's like, what I wanted to say was that now that I've found my brother, thanks to all of you, I think I'm going to leave this place and head back up to Fort Alcus.
Oh well, we'll miss having you around, but honestly, I understand wanting to get out of Bainham.
Yes, this place isn't great for my personal style.
So
That
did
was
you
a
have
joke. My brother is safe, and that's all I really cared about. So, now I'm going to take him to basically a fortress and see about maybe getting him that training you were talking about.
Wait, what? Aren't they taking the children?
I mean, I think we're still. They haven't left yet, so.
Oh no, the kids have been gone for a while now. They
They left with Otto.
yeah, Otto
Right.
and Grig came, and Lyra and the children
forgot about
left.
that.
Yeah.
So, speaking of that, then, Grim, could I maybe interest you in diverting some of your wandering adventuring into some adventure mentoring for us for a bit?
Well, I do see myself as an excellent role model.
And I think everyone here can agree, and we have a fresh batch of young minds that I am religiously compulsed to take care of.
Oh, I assume you're talking about the kids that you guys rescued from that creature.
We are, yes.
Oh, I mean, they're there at the fort, and honestly, now that I've found Kit, I can certainly take some time to assist with teaching them to fight. The rest of my adventuring party, they might miss me a bit, but honestly, they'll be fine without me.
And I mean, if they're up for the challenge as well, they're always invited to be the inaugural teaching staff of the Paragon Company affiliated Adventuring Academy.
/ fighting pits, if they're interested.
Honestly, that is for members of our group a fantastic way to hone your skills and make a little bit of extra magical item on the side, if you catch my drift.
Something to consider. I'm not much of a fighter myself, but I can certainly teach people with more of an arcane persuasion. But I did want to just say thank you all again. I'll probably be leaving in the next few days. Just want to give Kit a couple more days to rest before he's, travel ready. And then Kit's just like, Grim, I'm fine. And he's just like, you're fine when I say you're fine. So, I'll be leaving soon.
Brothers.
I'll be leaving soon, but just if there's anything I can do for you before I go, please let me know ahead of time.
I very weakly shake his hand because Archibald doesn't have a good grip,
Right.
and is just like, and same to you. If you need anything before you leave, let us know. We are here to help.
you've all done more than enough for me. That reminds me. And he reaches into his cloak and pulls out an envelope with like a seal on it and hands
Ooh.
it to Archibald.
I mean, it's got information inside, so I have to know.
Don't open it.
Oh my god.
I'll just tell you what it says. Jeez.
Oh, thank the goddess. Archibald does the sign of Centelha, which is like a curve across your chest and a line down.
Akira looks at him as he does that, and she's like, "How can you be sure he's not lying?"
Oh god. Hold this. Someone hold this. And I just like hold the letter up above my head.
It's a letter of recommendation so that if you ever make yourself down to the capital and go to the Paragon Company main headquarters, I've recommended to have you all take the exam to bump up to silver rank members. Because frankly, I'm a silver rank member, and you all did something that I probably would have died trying to do.
Fancy.
Thank you.
Well, I will say it's not an easy test. It's quite difficult. The head of the guild is a bit overzealous at times. So
Something wrong with that?
no, but she just wants to make sure everyone's very prepared.
Sounds sensible.
So, like, under his breath to, like, Akira, Archibald is going to compare the situation to, like, his favorite comic series about ninjas that he usually associates with anything she talks about when she talks about ninja stuff.
Yeah.
And how they had, like, similar exams. And he's really excited to see what they are and hopes they don't have to stay in the woods.
Right. So, while this is going on, Darius comes back with just plates of pancakes and like a big pitcher of syrup, and just puts it down in front of you all. And he's just like, "All right, here you go. If you need anything else, let me know. Enjoy." And he walks out.
How much is breakfast?
Grim's like, "Don't worry about it. I've been covering your tab the whole time you guys have been here."
Oh,
Taking gold from you?
I mean, I was gonna give him gold for a tip anyway. I just figured it was gonna...
Wait, didn't we pay for in rooms last time? Have they been charging us double?
No.
Okay, good.
Originally, when you guys did the job for the owner of the tavern, he let you have a few nights free.
Oh, okay.
So since that, Grim has been footing the bill as like a guild
Just
expense.
ready to start problems.
Yeah,
I can tell. Like, so far, everyone seems real nice.
yeah. So you guys all have breakfast and kind of start to discuss what you're going to do. And with that, we're going to pan over to the entrance to Bainham. And walking through the gate, past the hand of the polis office, is a young centaur woman. And Zahra, would you care to describe yourself?
Sure. So, third person, first person. Okay, Zahra's got. Well, she's got pretty tan, like brown skin. She's got like dark brown hair and box braids, pulled back, and a low ponytail. She's got cowboy style hat on, a bit worn down. She's wearing a nice handkerchief. She's got like a whip and a rapier, pretty prominently displayed. She looks not rich. She looks like she's doing all right for herself. She's also got like gray eyes and freckles, but the only thing that her height is what has her standing out, but otherwise she seems pretty friendly, doesn't seem to stick out too much, draw too much attention to herself. She just is determined to go on the path that she's walking on.
All right.
Basically, she's not easily distracted. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So, you've been traveling for quite a while, and you finally made your way to Bainham, where you got a tip that there's a large ruin that is being affected by a strange curse, and possibly there's a lot of treasure to be found there. So you're finally here. What would you like to do?
Well, first thing is I'd like to go to find an inn or somewhere just like keep my stuff safe. I don't like to have my valuables all on me. I like to keep them, hidden in the corner just in case.
Right. Sure. I'll say right at the entrance of town is the office, the station, essentially, of the Hand of the Polis. They're you're familiar enough with them. They're the essentially guard or police guild. They're usually pretty willing to help out if you catch them in the right mood. Or you could find a, just like random person to ask.
Yeah, so Zahra's gonna go find a random person, just very friendly, just introduce herself, say hi, I'm new in town. I was wondering if where a place I can crash, just put my things down. Like my bag is pretty heavy, and she's like, yes, there's your bag. Like shrugs at it a little. It seems to be pretty heavy, very sturdy. And he's like, I just want to lay down and relax.
So you walk up to, like a house and start talking to this halfling woman who's just sort of like sweeping her front steps. She's like, well, the Arse's horse is not too far from here. It's right up the street, sort of back around that way, and she points off in a direction.
Oh, thank you very much. And Zahra's like, tips her like, hat up, with her thumb a little. and nods.
Yeah, the lady kind of nods, like, yeah, no problem, and goes back to sweeping. So you head in the direction of the Arse's Horse Tavern, and it's like a small 2-story building with a sign out front. The sign is sort of hanging above the door. It's a wooden carving of, it looks like a man and a woman sort of walking together, except the man has a donkey head and the woman has a horse head, and they both just have like comically large butts, and under them it says the Arse's Horse.
So Zahra looks at the sign and then looks at her own back, which is an actual horse's arse.
Right.
Looks for a few minutes and like narrows her eyes, but doesn't say anything.
Right. So you walk in, and it's not the nicest tavern you've ever been to, but it's also far from the worst. There's a middle-aged human man kind of sitting behind the counter. There's not too many people in here quite yet. It's pretty early in the morning. But off in the corner, you do see there's a table with like a large half-orc man in very dapper dress, a very muscular, large Oni woman with like red skin, a pretty scrawny-looking human man that's sitting in like a wheelchair, and then 2 tabaxi, one that's kind of looks rather tired, wearing pretty plain clothes, and another that's in much more like flamboyant and like colorful clothing with like a bright blue cloak and hat. And they're all just talking and eating pancakes.
So Zahra's very nosy, so she's not gonna go walk up to them like just yet. But like, she'd like to like, she'd be curious to hear curious to know if she can like figure out what they're talking about. Just in case, it's good to keep abreast of gossip.
Right. So I'll say you go over to a table that's near them, and why don't you give me a perception check?
Grabak will be right back.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
He's going to go get more pancakes.
All right.
At least somebody's got their priorities together.
Right.
I've got a 4.
4.
Yeah,
Oh,
it looks
dear.
like it was a nat 1.
Oh no. So yeah, you I'll say with that, you sit down and you're trying to listen to what these people are talking about, but you can't quite make out what they're saying. So you end up just sort of leaning closer and closer to like towards their table. And Akira, you notice this centaur woman that walked in a few minutes ago. You notice that it looks like she's trying to eavesdrop on your conversation that you guys are having.
So, I look at Archie and I'm like, hey, like quietly, I'm like, hey, I'm going to need some guidance soon. And then I look over at Zahra and Akira smiles. But Akira also has really sharp teeth, so it's kind of scary. So Akira, Oni are scary. So Akira smiles menacingly and holds out a dice set, and she goes, "Come and join us for a round." And it is as much a welcome as
Yeah.
Right?
yeah, kind of a threat. Kind of, but most definitely.
Come play with us.
Dark smile, yeah.
Yeah.
Rolling sleeves up.
Yeah, right. All right. So, Zahra, do you go over to their table?
So Zahra is wondering whether this scary lady is just like, trying to be friendly, but unfortunately looks scary, or if she's like trying to be intimidating. But if there's one way to like, make sure that you look like an idiot or like, some suspicious person, it's to ignore a seemingly warm, chilly welcome. So she just like shrugs and she's like, "Sure, I don't play dice much, rather play cards, but I hope you guys are nice to me." And just like, gets up, like canters towards them, doesn't really know exactly how to sit, so she just like stands at the side of the table, looming over them because she isn't sitting down.
It's a good question. Don't horses like not sit?
So I was thinking about that, and I was talking to I about it a little bit, and I feel like the way to look at the 5e centaur is, if you didn't know what it was, like if you hadn't done like an anatomical like study of one, you could describe it as a horse body with a human torso where its head should be.
Right.
But like, imagine those visible features, but with like a functional, like evolved brain and like a body that was meant to be that way the whole time.
Yeah.
I kind of imagine they can do things a horse body can't do.
I will
Right.
say something. I can't find the article right now, but I remember reading it's from like some crazy article that like I think some D&D creator wrote back in like the 80s, where they go into detail about the centaur body, and like they can very much like curl up on the ground, like touch the floor with their hands, get up, get down, like way more easily than a horse can.
They're
They
not.
don't have patient. Their spine is a lot more flexible.
Yeah, and they're a little smaller, so they can effectively like squeeze into places differently.
Yeah.
I almost imagine they can sit the way like a dog sits with like butt on the ground, a
Yeah,
front
yeah,
leg
yeah.
straight, and get a pretty good sit at a table sit, you know?
Yeah.
That was literally the picture I was about to share of the horse sitting.
Thank you, Mr.
that is-
Cunningham.
That's literally the picture I just sent in
So
the
I
chat.
guess they can.
Fuck yeah.
That's literally what I just sent.
Yeah, no, all right. Yeah, so you go over and just sort of plop yourself next to the table.
Also making ourselves comfortable in a
Yeah,
very uncomfortable looking
I love
position.
that so much.
Before you guys actually start playing anything, the barkeep comes over with more pancakes, and he's just like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't realize they were having more company. Here you go," and he just walks away.
Well,
So now you have pancakes too.
free food.
Yeah.
So like Zahra just like shrugs and goes like, "Don't mind if I do. Eats carefully. Carefully eats her food, a bite or two, before looking at the table. And it's like, so who are you guys? You guys seem to be having an interesting time.
Akira kind of like looks over at her and she's like, why don't you introduce yourself first? You seemed really she's like, you seemed really interested in, like getting to know us. Why don't we get to know each other over like a round of dice? And I don't know, what do we have to do for dice? I put up 10 gold. 15 gold on the table.
All right.
I was like, let's get to know each other over a wager.
So I believe the way the dice game works is literally just you all roll a d20, but if you happen to and add your dex mod, and then if you're proficient with the dice game, you actually can add your proficiency bonus too.
Sweet. Can I get guidance on it?
I believe he gave you guidance right before I left, right?
I did. I just gave her like a little hand squeeze.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Anyone else want to hop in?
Robot will get in on that action.
Okay. Grim also does. He throws in 10 gold. He's like, I'm game.
Wait, are we playing cards?
No, we're playing
Dice.
dice.
Okay, Mike, is there any way for me to quote unquote not cheat, but succeed at dice with my massive intellect? If no, then I don't want to play dice.
Yeah, I don't
Professor
think so.
X the shit.
I don't
Yeah,
think
no,
so.
I sit out of this. If we were playing cards, I would count cards.
Right. Yeah, because like you can either essentially. So what we'll do is everyone who's playing can either just roll a d20, add your dex mod. If you're proficient with a dice game, you add your proficiency bonus. Or if you're trying to cheat, you can roll a sleight of hand check and use that as your roll for the dice game.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Could I cheat and if I have proficiency in dice. So could I cheat and also add my proficiency bonus?
Well, are you proficient in sleight of hand?
Yes.
Then it already is added in.
Okay.
Okay, so Zahra puts down like 10 gold as well.
Okay.
Grabak will put down a cravat valued at 10 gold.
Grim throws in 10 gold, and he's just like, all right, I haven't played dice in a while.
Ready to lose again, Grim?
That's what the last guy said. Yeah, no, it's too early for witty comebacks. Okay, let's do this. All right, so everyone roll either for the dice or if you're trying to cheat, sleight of hand.
All right. 27 for sleight of hand.
Oh, nat 20
Ooh.
plus dex bonus of 2.
All right.
Oh, nice. I got 5 with like a +5 dex, so 10.
Okay. So you guys all roll, and we'll say for the sake of the game, it's you roll 6 six-sided die and see who comes up with the highest number. And Grim rolls like almost all ones, and he's just like, oh, crap. Sorry, what did you get, Zahra?
10.
10. Okay. So you get like a little mixture of like, but it's like mostly lower end numbers. Akira, you flick the dice in such a way where like you kind of you shake them in your hand, but then you roll them in such a way where you kind of have them all facing like the one side, but then throw them like a specific way to try to get them to just go straight into like the table. And you end up getting 5 6s and a 3. And then Grabak, you roll, right? Did you roll or did you do sleight of hand?
I rolled.
Okay. Grabak just actually rolls, throws the dice down, and gets 6 6s.
It's a gentleman's game.
So Grabak, you win. You get your 10 gold back plus, or no, you didn't bet gold. You get 30 gold from everybody, and everyone who lost loses the 10 gold. So Grim's just like, well, clearly this isn't my game.
Not mine either, Zara's like admits. Trying to be friendly. Oh, my name is Zahra, by the way. I'm new in town, just arrived here.
Grim extends his hand. He's like, Grim Walkin, I'm a member of the Paragon company. Actually, that's all of us here, except for my brother, are with the guild. Are you part of the guild?
Oh, and Zara like shakes his hand, and she just like looks around, goes like admiringly, I mean, she's actually apprehensive, but she's like trying to show she's like admiring them, and goes like, oh, I've heard of the Paragon company. A bunch of heroes are. I didn't know I was in the company of a bunch of heroes.
Well, I don't know if we're all heroes, but we certainly like to prove ourselves against things that try to cause harm to others.
And treasure.
That is relatively important.
That's a perk.
Pretty good one.
That's
is always nice.
Oh, certainly. What brings you to a place like this, Zahra?
Oh, just like nothing. I've heard that this town has an old town that's cursed, and there's a whole bunch of interesting things to find. And I thought I might come here to try my luck.
Well, they would be the ones to talk to about that. They actually just got back from an expedition into the old town.
Oh, nice! How did you find it? I've heard that there's zombies out there, but is that really true, or is that superstition? She says this part whisper, in a whisper, to not have anyone else in the tavern in here.
Oh, there are definitely zombies.
To say the very least.
And do they actually want to eat people? And she's leaning forward, in a conspiratory way. Also, she seems a bit too enthusiastic, but like zombies and treasure, like do make an exciting combination.
Kira matches her energy, and she's like, not only do they want to eat us, they blow with holy water hurts them.
Do they really? Does it really? That seems a bit redundant. Like, why would you be a zombie if you get hurt by something like holy water? It's just water.
I don't think that it's a choice that these particular zombies have made, but I've been proven wrong, I'm sure, before.
Well, out of character. As I would have gone like, RIP to them, I'm different. But but like, she goes like, is there really any treasure there? I don't know, but I'm new to Mr. I just moved here a couple of months ago, but I've been hearing about Bainham. And it's like supposed and it's supposed treasure.
So far, we've found more trouble than treasure, but we're certainly going back in anyways.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go on.
I was gonna say, I think the treasure in Bainham is about treasuring the good times you have with your friends.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
That sounds like a load of crap to me, guys.
Yeah. Giant rubies, too.
Zahra goes, friends seem nice, money seems nicer. And like, as you're saying this, like, a pigeon signal flies into flies in. Like, is the door open? Actually, question. Is the door of the tavern open?
I'd say there would be a window at least open.
So like a pigeon signal flies in, slams into like Zahra's head, and she, jumps back up, and seems like biting at her hat, pulling it down, like for going on to like tug on her hair, and Zahra just tries to like wave at it, as get it to calm down, but it keeps like pulling on her hair. And she goes like, just like, all right, fine.
The bartender comes over with a broom, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, miss. Let me take care of that for you right away."
Oh, and Zahra's like, "Oh no. She's with me. She's just a little too enthusiastic." And yeah, she's like clutching the bird, protectively.
He stops.
And the bird.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carry
the
on.
The bird glares at him. The bird gives the bartender a stink eye. Bites at like Zahra's hand and just get it like loosen up.
So the bartender goes back to the counter and also gives your bird the stink eye. Just.
Yeah, and Zahra just puts her hat down, pushes a little like bird inside, and just keep it under. And she goes like, "Sorry about that. This is like my you could call her my guide. She's very enthusiastic about helping me." And she's just like nods seriously, no other explanations.
Also, when she took her hat off, Grabak definitely just like got a little paranoid for a second, waiting for something to happen. Like, oh no,
like it's a knee-jerk reaction. Just
yeah, like oh. Not my hat. Okay, cool.
All right, okay.
Did you cut my hat a little?
Does Grabak just think that that's how fighting works? Is that people who have hats take them off, they go crazy?
Love to think so. The fighting thing, right? Yeah, the hat comes off, the fighting starts.
See, the height is used to cap your power. Like you store all the extra power in your hat. So like when you just like take your hat off, the power goes free. It's just as empowering as taking off your jacket, rolling up your sleeves, getting ready. But
a weighted hat too.
It's like some Dragon Ball Z, like, you take the hat off, drop it, it, like, shatters the ground. Like,
Amazing.
It's why his hat is so big. It's full of power.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and full of power and secrets.
Exactly. Well, no, the secrets are a given. That's why his hair is so big.
So, sorry, no, go on.
Oh no, I said that, she's like, says like, this is like Sue. She's very enthusiastic, and just like pets the bird, but doesn't say anything else. Doesn't explain anything more.
Grim is just like, oh, well, I don't have any pets myself, but, it's neat to take care of a little critter, right?
It's more that she takes care of me than I take care of her.
Oh.
Who rescued who in this situation? Am I right?
Akira looks over with eyes like shining and like clutching her bat, and she goes, "You're so right." And she like holds her bat and she goes, "I'm Akira, and this is Bat."
Wow.
Bat takes care of me too.
Oh.
While this is happening, Grabak cuts a little corner off some of his pancakes and kind of like scoots it towards the bird.
All right, Grabak, give me an animal handling check.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, it's 16.
All right. So you hold it up,
And a
and
-2, by the way. So
and Sue like kind of looks at it for a second, and then actually like pecks a little bit of the pancake and seems to think it's all right,
Yeah. Zahra just like beams at Grabak, just like nods at him. And she's a little like, Akira and Bat seem interesting. She goes along with the flow, and she nods, hello. And like she goes like, Bat seems well loved.
It's like you introducing your dog to someone, and then they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I've got a pet rock."
Dick I found is like my best friend.
Yeah, yeah.
Akira and Bat have been together through thick and thin. It's been decades.
I never really thought about it, but I think that like now it occurs to me that Akira was on the ocean for a long time, completely alone, and probably to some degree developed a bit of like a Wilson situation, but with her bat.
I like that.
That bat is Akira the White's cudgel. It's just a giant bat because Akira the White was so much bigger than she was.
Right.
So yeah, it's got so much significance.
So during this whole conversation about like companions and pets and stuff, Archibald just has Gizmo like popping around all over the table and a weird little toy butler on top of the table doing stuff. But he doesn't acknowledge the concept at all that there might be a similarity. He just sits there eating pancakes.
Right. Just,
There's at least like 2 or 3 things floating around the table, all hovering around him specifically, and he's just like, yeah, no, anyways, pancakes.
Grabak brings up one of his butlers. Quincy, he's been with me since I was a young lad.
Quincy.
Is that how pets work?
And Zahra goes like, well, never had a human pet, so I'll have to take your word for it. Alright, I'm assuming
yes.
she's like a human.
I don't know. He's just always kind of been there. Grubbuck thinks back, and it's just like a gray anomaly in a little tuxedo. It's like, was he? What is he?
I like how as we go, Grubbuck just gets more and more out of touch with like how the world works.
Like, this is a nice pantry we're in. Like, this is a full-sized inn.
Right? You know? So, yeah, no, go ahead.
Never mind, continue on.
Oh, no, I was just trying to think of something for Grim to say. So Grim, he's just like, well, Zahra, if you're planning on going into the old town, I would definitely try to go with someone. It's way too dangerous to go alone. Most people that go in there don't make it back out.
Well, so like Zahra just, nods like thoughtfully, and then looks around, and she goes, "Hey, didn't you guys say you're like, planning on going back?"
Well, yeah, we're not most people.
Yeah, like in the meantime, like Sue now actually tries to like peck Zara's hand, like aggressively, and Zara goes like, "Oh, in that case, do you mind having someone else join you? Just in case, like, since you said it's like dangerous to go alone." And Zara just like nods to Grim, and she goes, "And I am pretty new here. I wouldn't want to die on my first try." And like, in the meantime, like, Sue's just like picking her hand like even more aggressively, trying to make a point, but like Zara just waves her hand, like ignores it.
Grubbuck thinks that Zahra and her butler could be useful companions.
I have two of the amulets that aren't cursed, right?
Yeah, you have two that aren't, and then you all have a chunk of actual just raw cletwood.
So
I also have some trees in my backpack.
do we have enough that I could feasibly make like an amulet for each of us, including Zahra?
Oh yeah, totally. Like the pieces you took were larger than the amulets are.
Okay. So more has she introduced herself? We know her name now, right?
Yeah, she said
Yeah.
her name.
Miss Zahra, I couldn't have you do this without telling you up front, but I'm about to be embarking on a relatively dangerous experiment involving a more purified version of the amulets that you need to investigate the old town. If you're willing to be test subject number 1, I'm happy to have you along.
Well, Zara just like shrugs. There's no reward without some risk now, isn't there? Is there?
Fantastic. Archibald's just gonna like take out one of the amulets he's already got and start like probing it and checking it out.
Yeah. And yeah, looking it over, like it still looks completely fine.
Okay, cool.
No, go ahead.
And then Zara's like curious. She's like, "Oh, what is that?" She's like asking about the amulet.
So, I don't know how conspiratorial we should be, but long story short, this is you don't know very much about the old town, right?
No, just what I've heard from everyone else.
there seems to be a pervasive curse running about the entire area that has a very specific scope and direction that's almost suspicious. And to explore the area without suffering immediate detrimental and lethal ill effects, you need to have a certain amount of this pure wood that seems to grow still in the area with you. And we've found some there that maintain certain special properties. And I intend to try and duplicate that special property.
Huh. And Zahra was like, so like, where can I get more of this wood? And she has this like little like gleam in her eyes. And she's very interested in this, like, mysterious like wood that protects you from this strange like aura. Mind if and where can we get more of it?
Well, if you wouldn't mind becoming a contractor for our group, then I can certainly supply you with the necessary materials for our outing and see how it goes from there.
Grabak will draw up a contract.
Okay. Like, Zahra's, is like little taken aback. She doesn't seem to, so she looks at the contract, like suspiciously, just like pokes it around, like pulls it up in front of her, like inside, backside, front, upside down, like examines everything, reads up close, like reads the entire contract, and she just goes like,
I mean, we're basically trying to hire you as a temp.
yeah, she goes like, so is this all there is? No other requirements or anything?
Unless you're interested
Grabak,
Oh, go ahead.
I was like, Grabak is impressed that she actually read the contract. Like, they usually don't do that.
Actually, I was going to ask, what exactly does Grabak put in a contract like that?
Yeah,
You
trying to be like, come
normal.
work for us for one job, and yeah, whatever. And then Grabak was like, oh, I have a contract for this.
Like NDA stuff, like exclusivity clauses, things like that.
That's all really important. Thanks, bro.
Non-compete clauses. You have to fight at least 3 fights in the fighting pits. Normal things.
Grabok, if you'd like, Akira does have calligraphy tools now. We could work up like a nice fancy illustrated copy, like illuminated copy you can have around.
Ooh,
That's just extra fancy.
that would be exquisite.
And Zahra just like asked like Grabak, so all these like conditions, like they required to fight, like being required to fight like 3 fights in the pit and everything. So can they be postponed and collected on at a later date, or will they have to be done immediately?
I'd say no more than a month past the end of the mission.
Okay. When do you expect the mission? How long do you expect the mission to take?
Week or two.
Roughly a week or 2.
Actually, no. It's like, interestingly, she nods like interested. And where are these pits exactly?
Around.
Oh, actually, Zahra, you would have seen walking up to the tavern that there is actually a crew of people working on like a small like set of like bleachers, like a little wooden like arena pit, sort of in the middle of it all. It's not completed yet, but like it is under construction.
I'd say by the time we're done with this mission, it should be up and running.
Interesting. Okay. So I'd say Zahra is not interested in like fighting in the pits. A little too much attention, but does she have any other choice?
No. Also, Grabak has never fought a centaur before, so he would be upset if he didn't get to fight.
Okay, so
Are you voicing your concern about drawing too much attention to yourself?
oh, she doesn't mention that. she goes like,
Okay,
okay,
give me a
how about
sec.
this?
You could do it luchador style, like this is out of character, but you could do it with a secret mask's identity.
I know. So Zahra's going to try to barter, and she goes like, okay, how about this? Instead of like 3 fights in the pit, but how about I owe you guys like a favor. I'm good at acquiring some like gemstones and stuff, so I could work as a supplier for a certain amount of time to make up for it. And since and how enthusiastic does Grubbuck look about the fights? While just like asking.
Grubbuck's getting a little upset that he don't get to fight at least one fight.
And she goes, and she like adds on, and I can spar with you once, private setting, on our own.
Grubbuck perks up. Like, yeah, that is acceptable.
Grim just sort of like is watching this, and he's just like, well, I won't say that I heard any of this, because this is all completely against the guild's way of doing things. But my lips are sealed.
Would he be okay signing an NDA?
No.
Grubbuck like pulls it back across the table like he was already handing it to him.
And the pigeon gives Grim a suspicious look.
He kind of eyes your bird, and it's like a little unsettling because he's a cat person,
Yeah. So like the pigeon's puffs up those how birds look like in the winter. There's all puffy and big. So so the pigeon puffs up, tries to make herself seem bigger, and look down on the bird. There's if you look closely, her beak's trembling, but she tried to look as intimidating as possible, which isn't much.
Grim leans back and he goes, "Oh, relax, Sue. I've already had my breakfast."
So at that, Sue just hops back, saying hi. And Zahra's hat. Peeks up, and glares at it's but still it's hiding inside the hat.
Can Grubbuck just glare at Grim because he likes bird? He has just an affinity for bird, and he's like, not a fan of you, cat.
Grim just kind of catches your gaze and just
just completely displeased with it, I gave that bird some pancakes. Don't you threaten that bird.
Don't you threaten that bird.
Yeah, and Zahra looks normal, but inside her head she's planning on planning some unfortunate accidents that could take place before she leaves.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
I don't care how obvious this is, because Archibald isn't really good about not being real bad about this sort of thing.
Yeah.
But can I Sherlock Holmes Zahra while we're sitting here?
Okay, you want to give me an insight check?
Well, I was gonna try for an investigation check to do the whole I see you have dirt on your boot, your hooves from the Kapalapala mountains and stuff.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
I'm trying to specifically that the thing that Sherlock Holmes does when he meets people, the party trick.
No, I got you. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Give me an investigation check.
Side note: if he rolls poorly, can it be an Ace Ventura-esque version of that?
I'm willing to accept that on the low chance that I roll poorly on investigation.
If he rolls poorly on investigation, he'll say Zahra is an alcoholic because, I don't know, she doesn't buckle her bag 100%.
I might still do that. I have a very low charisma. Mike's going to give me the information, and I have a 6 charisma. We'll go from there. Okay, so I rolled an 18, so that's a 27, plus my guidance, so that's a 29.
Oh, damn.
So, while this is all going on, Archibald, you look Zahra over. Like, no one really pays attention to you during this whole exchange. When you're in your chair and you're kind of not trying to be very heroic as Guardian Gold, you tend to not have much of a presence. So you start looking her over, and a few key details do stick out to you. One, yes, you do notice that her hooves are quite muddy. The area around Bainham tends to rain a lot, so that's not entirely out there. But the hue of the mud doesn't quite match up with the mud from around here, and you actually figure that she was walking through mud before she got to the Bainham region, but she came more from the south, where things are a little drier, the earth is a little more alive and rich. Another thing is that you do notice slight white crust on the brim of her hat, implying that she doesn't really care too much if Sue poops on her hat. But the big thing that sticks out to you is that you see on parts of her hands and shoulders, and also to a degree you smell the unmistakable scent of black powder on her.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm super familiar with that. So, without how slick is Archibald? Not very. I'm not gonna do anything cool about it. I'm just gonna literally perk up when I smell it and be like, "Oh, Miss Zahra, I can't help but notice that you seem to also have some experience." And then Archibald just pulls out his big fucking gun, just with black powder technology.
So, although she tense a little, but she tense a little, but she's relaxes, and she just laughs, "Oh yeah, you got me." And she's from behind her back, she's pulls out this nice little revolver, and she twirls it around in her hand, and goes "Yep, I do like my firearms sometimes. They do come in handy."
Mm-hmm.
Would you, Archibald offers his gun forward and asks to see yours?
And sure, and she, grabs his gun first before pushing her own towards him, handle first.
Mm-hmm.
So Archie's gun is a more standard pistol, and it's got a little bit more of he tunes it up to have kind of a fun sci-fi theme. It's the kind of gun that would make cops get mad at you for having a toy gun, but it's not a toy gun at all.
Right.
Actually, can Zahra examine it, just see if there's anything interesting about the gun? Is it a regular gun that looks weird or anything? Just curious.
If you want to give me an investigation check.
Also, as I do with just about everything, I'm going to casually just mend her gun while I'm looking at it.
Okay, I rolled an 18.
Okay. So Archie, why don't you tell her a little bit of extra detail about your gun?
So I don't know how much Zahra knows about this sort of thing, but it's the church that Archibald is into is the church to the primary goddess of discovery and impulsive invention. And so one of their primary mediums they work with is a substance they call black powder, which is what most firearms and a lot of explosives in the world utilize and they use it as a religious medium for like cremations and ceremonies, and also, guns and stuff. So even though he's just a little science nerd who does like investigation work for the team, he does have this firearm, and even though it's not exceedingly strong, it's still really well made and like finely maintained, and like just because it's a gun, more dangerous than what a lot of people in this tavern actually have like around.
Okay.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, Zara's like looks very interested about this gun, and just like turning this side around, like trying to look at the details, and she looks up at like Archie and asks, like, "This gun looks really well made. Where did you get it from?"
My master, our master, and I like gesture to Akira, is one of the greatest scientists in the region. And when I left home, she said, "Archibald, you're gonna get killed out there," and she put this in my hands.
Yeah, no, that sounds very much like Heinrich.
So like, Zara nods, doesn't say anything, but in her mind goes like, sounds like a smart master.
So yeah, I mean, I don't want to keep on bogging this nerd stuff down, but I would like to do the same thing and just actually check out her gun while, as it's in my hands, it becomes shinier and newer.
Yeah, no, so go ahead and roll an investigation check on it.
Also, Gizmo is like literally like on top of it, helping me out because he's really into guns too.
So yeah, Zahra, you see this like mechanical clockwork beetle floating around the gun, like shining lights on parts of it, while Archibald seems to just sort of like cause parts of it to become less worn looking.
It is a 27.
Okay. So, Archie, you obviously know a lot about these types of weapons, being from the Centellan Church. You can tell from looking at this, it's not a weapon made by Centellans. It's a different design, where yours is like a single shot and then reload kind of situation. Zara's gun is like a 6-shot revolver, very much like an old-timey Western pistol.
Ooh.
It was kind of beat up and dingy looking, but now it's like much you mending it actually made it look pretty new again. But you don't recognize it from either the church or just the region in general. Like, it looks like maybe this was made in another country.
Archibald, just without like reservation, is just like fascinating. And as he hands it back, he's like, "I'd love to hear about where you got this from."
So Zara's like, she like, pauses for a moment, but then she really kind of says like, "Yeah, I'm not, like, as I've said, like, I'm pretty new to Mistra. I spent most of my life in Catholic. Yeah, I grew up in the Viltespira. I was like trying to move on. I decided to move on to like go for some like greener pastures, and I ended up here in Mistra. So and she like smiles.
Archibald has a really low wisdom, so that all sounds really above board to him.
Right.
Out of character, I'd love eventually for Grabak to just out of nowhere notice Gizmo for the first time, even though he's been like around this entire time, and just be completely like taken aback and surprised by him.
Okay, so like, I don't want everybody killing my homunculus every day just because it's technically possible, but if you do want to try and swap my bug-shaped homunculus once, I'll allow it.
This gets me like, oh, what is that?
Like, I'll give him his actual opportunity to get out of your way, but if you get him, I mean...
Well, I'll say that now is that time. And you see this just massive, very shiny beetle buzzing around Archibald.
When did that get here? I just like roll up a newspaper. Or roll up, get some type of scroll and just go to.
Stats, because this is about to become an attack roll on my familiar.
And just like whap at it with some rolled up paper.
Go ahead and give us a tavern brawler strike.
Oh God, you're good with a newspaper. You're proficient. You're fucking proficient with newspapers.
Grabok's
He has
proficient.
tavern brawlers, so anything he picks up is a weapon.
Yep.
So like literally him rolling up a newspaper is
a
enough
weapon
to
for
be like,
him.
this is a weapon.
We're technically in a tavern too. Do I get advantage?
I don't know. Is that how that works?
I don't know.
I don't think that's how that works, Kevin. No.
If
20
you
to
say
hit.
right out loud a thing about it to me
Oh
right
my
now,
God.
I'd believe it.
What's Gizmo's AC?
It's a solid 13.
Oh, he rolled a 20.
Yeah, okay, so he has 10 HP.
Alright, go ahead and roll damage.
Oh shit! 9 bludgeoning damage.
Okay, so you almost kill my homunculus.
With a crumpled up newspaper. I'm so sorry.
So he's just like, what the hell is that, Archie? Whack! And like, Gizmo knocks out of the air, like bounces off the table, and like lands upside down, legs in the air on the floor, just like twitching.
Grubok thinks he just saved you from getting bit by something. It's like, yeah, there you go.
I would just be like, oh no, and just like run up and pick him up and be like, buddy, it's gonna be okay. And like I cast mending on my homunculus, giving him 2d6 HP.
Go ahead and roll your recovery on your homunculus.
Grubok realizes, like, oh, he knows that thing. That must
He
be one of
knows
his.
that bug.
That must be a butler of his.
That's pretty accurate. Okay, he's back up to 9 out of 10. That's solid.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. So yeah. Archie, do you say anything about him just almost killing?
I hold a Gizmo up as in my hands as he like reconstitutes covered in golden light from like not me actually working on him, but just my tools being out nearby. And I'm just like, hey, so Mr. Kensington, I know we haven't really had a conversation about this before, but I would really love it if you would just take a quick breather before you guys take certain actions around that man, oh man, I have to fix.
Grubok apologizes. I did not know that was your help. I thought you were in danger.
It's fine. I'm surprised you haven't met. This is Gizmo, and Gizmo does like a little cartoony like bow jig because he's adorable.
Can I shake a tiny appendage?
Yeah. In the meantime, Zahra's like mouthing us silently, like, help.
I mean, honestly, he is the help. Like,
Right.
he's way more my butler than my friend.
He
Dawn's on you like, oh my god, he is my butler.
Gizmo shakily goes, ka-chow.
He's at 9 HP. He can do a little better than that.
He's just more scared than anything.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. He's smart enough to recognize danger.
Right.
I thought we were cool. I thought this guy was my friend. We've been adventuring together this whole time. He just doesn't
Poor
notice things, is all.
Poor thing.
Right.
The worst part is, that Gizmo, my homunculus, just because of the base homunculus stats, has a higher, like, wisdom and intelligence than, like, a lot of us.
So he
Like,
knows I didn't know any better.
He's a pretty level-headed straight man to our team of relative idiots and, like, complete, like, fools.
Oh.
I have an 8 intelligence, so I definitely didn't notice him the entire time. just
I think
Hey, you're still smarter than Akira and Tom.
it gives
right,
most
we
money
are
in all three of them.
Most of the party chose intelligence as their dump stat.
Well,
yeah,
My
why,
wisdom's 6, so I'm very not wise as
Right.
well.
why have thoughts when you can just do?
Right.
You can have all those muscles, and I can get a butler for that.
I can
Well.
pay someone to do it for me.
You
Zahra,
think?
Think. Yes, sir. No.
Right away, my lord.
We're in quite a pickle. Come up with something. Master, what if we were to build a bridge using the assistant butler's bodies? Brilliant idea I've had. Get to it.
Can we retcon that Grabak has had a butler with him this entire time? And just anytime he has to think about something or has a good idea, he's just like discussing with the butler.
Honestly, I'm fine if you just treat Archibald like your help because of how friendly he is, and he just like doesn't know not to answer questions and stuff.
You're like unintentionally just completely taking advantage of Archibald.
Zahra's going to intentionally take advantage of Archibald. No unintentions.
Right.
There.
Smart.
Do I notice that the rest of the team is trying to take advantage of Archibald? Or trying or conspiring to do so? Do I get like my monk tingles?
Just give me an insight check. And Grabak and Zahra, give me... I'm trying to think, what would this be?
I feel like Grabak wouldn't be doing it maliciously. It would just be
Right.
like, he's doing the
Being
thing,
done.
and I don't have to pay him.
Right.
That's business.
Right.
Well, Grabak's the family scion. He's never paid anyone. People are paid.
Oh yeah, they just do the thing.
Yeah, he doesn't know how that works. He knows people
There's a
get
butler
paid.
for that.
Yeah, there's a guy who gets paid by his father to pay the other guys.
Zahra just like goes like, she's not gonna bite the hand that feeds her. If there's like a free source of information and things that she could find useful, she's gonna use it.
What was your insight check?
24.
24?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll say with that, you get the feeling that Grabak wouldn't intentionally do anything like that, but maybe he might accidentally take advantage of Archibald. But Zahra gives you kind of a vibe that she's real friendly and everything, but maybe she wouldn't necessarily have everyone's best intentions in mind quite yet, because she's only known you for about half an hour.
So, Akira just kind of does her, just kind of laughs a little loudly and goes, maybe we shouldn't think about taking advantage of Archie at all right now. And like puts a hand on her bat.
Grabak
This is mostly directed at Zahra.
Right.
Archibald is completely absorbed in Zara's gun. He's like got the chamber open and is like tapping the width of the pistol, like the bullet chambers. He's like popped out the bullets and taken one apart and put it back together already.
I imagine in like a movie or a TV show, they would do like that thing where it's just like your eye through the barrel, and like you spin the chamber with like the 6 slots for bullets, and you're like, wow.
Yeah, no, pretty much.
And they're just like, raise their hands up, and she's like, raise her hands up. She's like, sure, yeah. She nods, but like, She eyes like Archie, playing around with her gun with no input from her, and you know, and then looks to the bat and she goes like, doesn't say anything else. You know,
Friends here. We all have like a nice, you know, Akira's like, we all have a nice civil contract that Grabach so kindly put together. I think as long as we stay by those terms, we should, you know, we should be all set.
So with that, Grim's just like, you know what? Let me take a look at the contract.
like Zahra, and I'm sorry, Sue just like hops back inside the hat, hops out of the hat, hops closer to Zahra, keeping a healthy distance between her and Grim. Yeah, and like Zahra just puts like a hand in front of the bird, not much of a shield, but it's a little shield.
Grim looks at you, he's like, not the bird, your contract.
It's like Zahra just looks at him. Just looks. Smiles, but doesn't say anything else.
We won't animate your bird. He's just being funny.
I really promise you I won't eat your bird.
Like Zahra just nods. Sue doesn't trust it.
Right.
She's like jumps hops even closer to Zahra. It's like glares at, greedy, gives a dark look.
Hold out my hand to get the contract from Zahra to give it to Grim, through me.
And Zahra just hands it over to her.
I hand over the contract to Grim.
So Grim takes it, and he pulls out a little set of spectacles and puts them on, and he starts looking it over. He just kind of keeps glancing up at Grabach, and he's like, this is actually pretty solid.
I do good work.
He's like, so honestly, it's not that different from one of the contracts we would actually do normally for mercenary work and whatnot. I'd say the only difference is the fighting pit thing.
That's for me.
Yeah. But that's been negotiated.
Right.
We are Grim. Degenerates?
It definitely it varies from person to person, because I feel like some people he wouldn't want to fight. I feel like if he made a contract for Grim, he'd be like, oh no, that's a little baby cat, I don't want to fight that. There's no challenge there in hand-to-hand combat with a tiny cat.
Yeah, Grim doesn't even really use a weapon. He just uses his fiddle to cast spells.
Grim doesn't even lift.
Grim does not even lift.
Grabach is like, ooh, horse person. That'll be a fight.
Right. So Grim's like, all right, well, I guess here, Zahra, with this, if you sign it, it looks like they will have you travel with them, at least into the old town, where you can work together to whatever end you guys decide on. Whatever you decide on with the fighting pit thing, that's between you guys. But if you sign here, he pulls out one of those wax blocks,
Mm-hmm.
and actually pulls out a match and lights it to melt some of the wax on. He's like, if you sign it, I'll put an official seal on it, but if you ask who did this, I will deny it.
And Zara's nods gratefully, sure.
So,
And
yeah. So Zahra signs it, and then he, puts the wax on it and takes out his guild badge and presses it onto the wax, and it has like a Paragon company symbol on it in the wax. And he's like, "There, it's official. Zahra, you are working with this group of individuals, and as an aside, if you happen to do very well, we can actually discuss if you're interested in joining the guild if everything goes well."
She just like nods, really friendly. Doesn't say anything. Just nods.
Right. Well, I think that's about it for me. He gets up from the table. Kit just kind of gets up. He's like, "Thanks again. Nice meeting you guys." And Grim and Kit exit the tavern.
And that was the last time we ever saw them alive.
Spoilers, come on. No.
Okay.
As an aside, I like Grim too much to not use him again.
I mean, yeah, but when he's the bad guy and we gotta kill him.
Is that spoilers?
Oh, I'm just making stuff up to make Mike mad at me for just judging his characters harshly, because we're all very suspicious of all of his NPCs.
Yeah, no, they every character they meet, they're just like, this person's definitely evil. And I'm just like, in the back of my mind, like, this is like a one-time NPC they're never gonna see again.
But they're totally evil.
But they're definitely evil.
I mean, evil comes in many different shapes and sizes.
Absolutely.
He's also been right like twice. So like
Right.
Twice out of the 100. That's
Yeah,
certainly
no.
enough. That's certainly proof.
All right, we've reached the end of another episode. I'd like to thank my players for being such a fun group to play with. At Cactus Toad on Instagram, who made our character art. At Alpha A for helping with the intro video. Will Savino and his tracks from Music D20. And Burrowbound, link in the description below. And thank you if you made it this far. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, leave a comment, and consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time in the Paragon Company.